Hey everybody! Well, today I thought we could take a look at this cool model kit. Now, this kit is actually an old kit. I don't remember what year it came out. It was a long time ago. And then it was reissued again by Lindberg in 2018, and that's when I got this one. So I was going to build this originally as part of a group Halloween build, and then I never got around to doing it for whatever reason. So I figured, well, we're close to Halloween now, and so I figured I'd go ahead and take a shot at this. Now, this is part of their Jolly Roger series, which had some really cool models. They were all kind of based on these creepy skeletons and like a pirate-themed kind of thing. And this one's called Hex Marks the Spot, which I think was arguably one of the most popular of that series. So on the back here, you can see that it has some cool features. And that was kind of the thing about these, is they all had an action feature to it. So it looks like they're on the remnants of a raft, like what was left of their pirate ship. So you got this guy here steering the ship with the wheel, and then there's this chest or this box, and you can open the lid, and when you push a button, I think back here somewhere, the other skeleton right here, he pops up and he stabs the map with a dagger. It's really neat. It's like a rubber band powered thing. So there's neat little details in here. There's like a lantern hanging here. There's a cannon, some bones. There's some decals for these nice details on the chest and the map, and I think their costumes or their clothes are also decals too. So let's take a look at the parts. Here's all the parts that come with this. There was a lot more than I thought. For some reason I was thinking it didn't have that many pieces. There's some pretty big ones here, like the raft section here. So we're going to be doing some, I'll probably end up hand painting most all of this, I would guess. There's that box where the map goes, and that's the other part of the raft. There's that cannon that looks really cool, another piece of wood there. This is the mast with the sail kind of hanging onto it. There's the wheel. And I think that's a little like rail that's on behind the first guy. There's a little medallion right here. It has two different patterns here. It's got that on one side, and it looks like they're both the same. There's another cool medallion right there. And then let's see what else. That's a cannonball, I think is what that is. There's the door to the chest that opens. I'm not sure what that part is. Here's the skeletons. They're the best part of the whole thing. And then we got the other half of the wheel. Looks like another piece of wood there. That one's got a lot of flash on it right there. There's the other skeleton body. Some arms and hands. The back of their skull. There's the skull. So yeah, very cool. There's the rubber band. You know, I'm not big on these rubber band things, those of you who watch my channel know, because this thing is going to dry out within about 8 months and it won't work anymore. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can go to the store and find if I can find some of those little girls' ponytail ties or something, and see if I can find one that has a small circumference, and maybe I can use that instead, because this is going to just break. And I'm not sure that once you put it together you can replace that. Sometimes that's always a problem with some of these kits. But anyway, this looks pretty cool. Let's take a look at the decals. These decals look pretty cool. Now these ones here are what go on the door of that chest. They're going to go on those little squares right there of that door. I'm not sure what some of this stuff is. I think some of it might be the clothing on the skeletons. There's that cool map. I'm not sure if that's a decal or just some writing on there. There's some really cool stuff in here. You can see there's the Jolly Roger right there. Looks like maybe a compass mark or something there, or whatever that is. That might be the stripes on one of the skeleton's clothes or something. But yeah, very cool. Alright, so this should be a pretty fun build. Alright, so I think I got most of the painting done. I got a little bit more to go, but here's the main floor section. I think this turned out really nice. I'm going to have to do a black wash and make it look a little more weathered. Same with these box pieces right here. And then there's another box piece over here. Here's the steering wheel. There's the door. I'm going to have to gloss coat some of these parts so I can put the decals on, and then put a dull coat on there. The skeletons turned out really nice. I got to still paint the top of that one's scarf, and on the back part of his head too, which is, I think, well, it's one of those. It's that piece right there. But you can see the skeletons look really good. I'm going to have to gloss coat the red shirt there because there's some decals that go on there as well. I still have to paint those cannonballs. And then, what else? Oh, there was a piece missing out of this kit. I was kind of shocked to see that. It looks like it must have fallen off the sprue, and I looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. And it's supposed to be the little block and tackle that goes right here. And so It doesn't matter though. There's a lot of other stuff that's laying around on there, like a bunch of bones and stuff. So I think I might use that to my advantage because I want to try to make this lantern light up. And so I masked off the little glass areas on there. And hopefully I can make it light up. It's supposed to go on the mast over here, which I've got all painted as well. And I'm going to leave that gray. But the wires will show if I have it hanging off the top of it over here, I think. So I think what I'll try to do is maybe I'll just stick it on the floor of the deck, and those holes will come in handy to put the wires through. So here is the circuit I'm going to use. It's a simple 9-volt. It's got a little button right here to turn it on and off, and it's got a flickering LED right there. So I'm going to try to see if I can gouge a hole in the bottom of the lantern piece right there, and then hopefully make it light up. I don't know. Hopefully I can make it work. But we'll have to see. But anyway, the skeleton's turning out really nice. It's a fun kit. I really like it. It's just the kind of creepiness of it that I like. So it's really cool. You can see here I've gone through a ton of different paints. It's crazy. All right, well, I guess I'll get back to work on it. All right, so I think I am finally ready to start assembling everything. I already started a little bit here by putting that little railing back there and the steering stock. Now I did a black wash on everything, not real heavy, but just enough to kind of bring out this nice wood detail. I really love the wood detail that they did on this kit, considering that it's an older kit like this. Here you can see I did the black wash on here. It really shows up good on this piece right here. That door, and these decals look really great. Look at that. Here's the other side of this. There's some decals here too. I got the map. Really like that map. It's cool looking. And then here's this one right up here. Let's see, what else is there decals on? Oh, it's the wheel. The wheel has this nice kind of like gold decorative stuff going on here. If I could focus in on it. Yeah, it's really neat. Let's see, these ones here on this guy. Oh my gosh. These were difficult. This one on this side and this one on that side seem to fit pretty good. But these ones here, they didn't really conform to his shoulders right. It's almost like they had the wrong direction on those. I actually had to cut each of those stripes separately and put them on individually. Same with this side. So it's kind of weird. I'm not sure why it was that way, but you know, it's fine. I mean, just more work to put them on individually, but it's almost better to do it that way. Here's the little bandana on the front of his head. These are really neat. And I did a little wash on these guys too, just to kind of dirtify them up a little bit, especially in the spinal column. Now I will say that I used this stuff right here. I call this the Miracle Elixir Walther's Solvaset. I love this. Oh, it's so good about getting the decals down on really unusual rough surfaces and stuff like that. That's got like a wood grain. That's why it looks so good right here. And after you put a dull coat on it, it blends in so good. It looks like it's actually printed on the wood. It's amazing how good that turns out. And it really gets those decals to stay down on each of the wood grains. So I love that stuff. It came in really good for that guy. So let me see. Oh, here's the sail. I left it gray to make it look all dirty and dingy. And that Solvaset works really good, that Walther's, for this kind of thing too. Because see all the weird contours that are on here? So that went on really nice. I really like this piece. It looks really cool. There's the end of it. This kit is so cool. It's just got so many neat pieces. I just love it. There's the guy that stabs the map. And, oh, I also left his front rib cage. I didn't glue that on because I know that rubber band's going to break in a matter of like 8 months or more, because that's how rubber bands are here where I live. They just dry out really bad. You can see the nice detail on them. So I left that so that I can just pull the rib cage off and then replace it with another one. I tried using these bands right here. They're like ladies' hair bands. Let me see if I can get these out of here. But they don't really, they're really tight. I mean, these things have a really tight, they're almost too tight. I don't think it would work. I didn't try it, but I think it won't really work because it's going to make him snap so hard that it might break him. So decided to kind of just go with what they give you. And there's the other parts right there. So you may have noticed that on the base here, I've actually glued this to this blue plaque. Now, I painted this plaque blue. I found this at Walmart. It's just one of these blank plaques for their craft area. If you go to a super Walmart, they have a fantastic crafting area. I found all these paints over here. You can see all the craft paints that I've been using. I found all of those there. And I tried to use craft paints on this particular kit because you don't need a really fancy finish. And for wood, those craft paints work great for 68 cents a bottle versus $7 a bottle for those Tamiya paints, which I do love Tamiya paints, but boy, anything at the hobby shop is so overpriced. So I decided to put it on this. I painted it blue to make it look like water, and then I needed the base because I did manage to get that little lantern to light up. So underneath here, this is what it looks like. So it's just a simple little setup. I just hot glued the LED in there, drilled a hole through the base here and also through the wood here. And then since those holes were already there for the missing piece that I had, that block and tackle piece, it works just fine. I decided not to put it hanging off of that mast that's fallen over because the wires would be seen. This is much better. And so it fits in there perfectly. And so there's the button. I just hot glued it to the end right here. And then I have this. Now this holder right here, I'll show you what that is. I've used this before in other models. I told, if you're familiar, there's another YouTube channel called Interstellar Modeler, and it's hosted by Augie. And I love all these modeling channels. I subscribe to a lot of them, like TrekWorks, and Boyd hosts that one, and Augie and Lou Dalmaso. I mean, these guys are so good at building models, and they're such an inspiration for people like myself. And so I told Augie about this because he was doing a model where he had this kind of weird jury rig for a 9-volt, and I told him to use this thing because it works perfect as a 9-volt battery, and he's loved it ever since. So I'll show you what that is. Now what those are is you can get this, it's from a company called Legrand, and they're by Cordmate 2. They're these little couplers. And they're made for, when you put the wires up for a TV and you have them on the wall and you don't want them exposed, they have long strips of these things that you kind of attach to the wall so it hides the wires. Well, these are the little connector pieces that go in there, but they are perfect, absolutely perfect for a 9-volt battery. They clip in there perfectly. So I just kind of sand the top of this so that it'll stick better on the bottom. And you can find these at Home Depot. That's where I find them. And they're cheap too. I think they're only a couple of bucks. So it works perfect. So it just works. I mean, this snaps right in here. Let me see if I can grip this. See how it's like perfectly shaped for a 9-volt battery. And where these clip in is about the seam on the battery on the side here, on this side in particular. And it just clips right in, just like that. It holds the battery perfectly. I love this stuff. So the other thing is the battery stuck up just a little bit. See how it sticks up a little bit there? So I had to put these feet on here. I had 4 of these left over from some other project, and it just raises it up just enough so that I don't have to worry about the battery making this all off kilter. So very cool. All right, so I think I can finally, I'm not going to show the light just yet because I want to save that for the final reveal here. So I think I'm ready to finally start gluing everything together, thank goodness, because I'm ready to get this all put together. Okay, here it is all finished. Oh man, what a cool kit. Really had a lot of fun building this. I'm not really sure why it took me so long to get around to building it, but I'm really glad I finally did. Just in time for Halloween. I figured it's kind of a neat little thing for Halloween. But all kinds of fun things to build, interesting little things to paint. You're going to do a lot of painting on this kit, that's for sure. And wood is always a little tricky. You got to do several layers of different colors of brown to make it look like wood. But it turns out really good once you can master all of that. I didn't paint the back of that because you're not really going to see the back of it anyway. But I want to show you some close-ups. I do have the lantern on, but the studio lights are so bright that they're probably drowning it out. But we'll look at it in the dark too. So we'll go ahead and start with this box. Now the box, when you put this together, make sure you put this side and this side together first, because they have to kind of interlock into the front and back. There's like a little interlocking thing right there in the corner, which I didn't know. I'd already started gluing these ones, of course, the long ones, and I realized, I got to do it the other way around. So I had to pull all that out of there and start over. Also, it's really tricky to, when you're putting this part on, this little point right here has got to go, well, it's hard to explain. You got to get it on that side while you're trying to get the hinge underneath that little, clippy thing right there. And it was not easy. I struggled with that for quite a bit to get that right, but once you get it in there, it fits pretty good. And the instructions don't really make it clear either. I love these decals on here. That turned out really good. Like I mentioned before, it looks like it's painted on the actual part. It's amazing how good those decals. And the decals work really quick. I mean, you only have to have them dipped in the water for just really about 10 seconds or maybe a little more, and they're ready to go. There's that map. You can see all the details on there. And then that little symbol right there. Love this skull. Now you can kind of, it's up to your own decision on where you want to put all this extra stuff, like the little body parts. Like you got a couple of feet. There's an arm. You got the skull here. There's a couple of cannonballs. Let's see what else. There's another foot, and there's like a femur or something back there. And there's another bone right back there. You can kind of see. Here's that cannon. It's going to weather this up a little bit more. I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% liking the way that turned out, but it's okay. I mean, it's fine. Put a little bit of copper and gold, or two different shades of copper in there. But yeah, and you can just kind of lay that across there. But it looks really good. There's that lantern. So the lantern is supposed to hang over here off of this thing. But as I mentioned, you'd have to have the wires showing coming up here. You know, they'd be visible. You know, I could probably try to hide them, but I cut the rope that was on this piece and just kind of made it look like it's a freestanding lantern. And it is on, but like I said, you can kind of probably see the flickering right there. I'll turn the lights down so we can see it better. And then here we are to the steering wheel right there. I love those decals right there. It really makes a nice little detail. And they tell you not to glue this so that you can turn it, I guess, but you're going to have to glue this skeleton's hands onto the wheel because he doesn't quite reach it. I had to kind of pull him down a little bit over there to make it reach just right. And then here's this guy right here. He looks really cool as well. Like the patch on his eye and all the decals that make up his shirt and his scarf. Just kind of gives him some nice added detail. He stands right down in there. Oh, it's just such a cool kit. God, I loved it. It was so fun to build it just because there's just so many interesting pieces into this thing. And I just like this theme. It's like just a kind of a fun little creepy, eerie thing. There's the mast that has broken and fallen. And over here we can see the sail is still draped over it with the big skull and crossbones on there. A little bit of weathering just to make it look like it's a little bit dirty. I did paint the inside of that. And there's the back side over here. It's very, very cool. So of course there's a little gimmick on this. So let me show you how that works. So you're going to open the door here, and then this little thing is supposed to push down on that, but it doesn't really work really well because the plastic will bend inward. This should have been longer and pushed down at the bottom because that's where it really needs to be pushed in order to make the skeleton pop up on the inside. So let me get that all set up. Okay, so we open up the door here. Now normally he would just pop out, but because that doesn't work quite right, you're going to have to manually push the button yourself. So we'll just push that. Let me hold this like this. And then, there he is. He does the stabbing of the knife on the map right there. That is so cool. So it's really neat. The little device in there, you can kind of see that little bar that's kind of between the two ropes. That's the thing that slides. So let me see if I can get a better close-up in there. So the way that you reset this is you push the skeleton down, and then you make sure that his arm goes back as well. And then you're going to get the arm, this arm over here, you're going to try to get it underneath that little clip. See that little clip right in there? So you have to kind of push him down, and you got to push his arm down a little bit, and then you're going to slide this thing right here forward, and that's going to make that little loop right here hold his arm down. And you'll notice how the lid started to close, and that is because back here you can kind of see how that pushes that in. Now you can close the door like this, but when you open it, see how it's not, oh well, now it looks like it's trying to slide it. Actually, maybe the more I use it, it might work a little better because, you know, the paint. But see how it kind of bends this? It bends right here. It'd be better if, well, if that was longer, it would kind of look a little weird. But it needs to be long enough to push more the bottom, because once you push the bottom, let me see if I can do this. So when you push well, let me see if I can do it. Push the bottom here, and then there he goes. Because it just has to slide that little mechanism right here, this little thing. Because that's all it really is. It's just a sliding thing. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's still pretty cool. And it's easy enough to just reset him. But I do worry about that rubber band, as I mentioned. I just kind of feel like that I know that's going to dry out in no time. But then he's all ready to go, and you can just kind of shut the door. And he's all set to jump out of there again. Okay, so I turned down the main lights, so you can kind of see how that lamp is flickering in there. That's a really cool effect. So I'm really glad I was able to do that. I had that circuit laying around. I don't even know where I got it, but I knew that it flickered, and I figured I could use that for something someday, and well, it worked out perfect for this particular project. Let me turn off the lights completely. Let's see how bright that is. Oh, well, it lights up, actually, well, you can't see the whole thing, but you can, it's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. That looks, that looks really neat. It gives it even more of an eerie glow going on in there. Look at that. But yeah, I like it. It's very, very cool. Let me turn the main lights back on again. Yeah, so I love it. I've always liked these flicker bulbs anyway. It's nice that they have those, but it's a very nice effect for this kind of a kit. So I did have a few extra pieces here. Now here's that doubloon. I didn't paint it because I don't know, I didn't really want to use it on the kit. Here's this big medallion. I didn't paint that either. It's kind of hollow on the other side, so it's neat. I mean, it'd be fun to maybe paint it and make it look like it's gold or something. And then I'm not sure what this is. I'm guessing it's some kind of a connector where you can connect all the different kits together, maybe? I'm not really sure. I didn't really see anything on the bottom where that's supposed to go, and there was nothing in the instructions about it. And then this is the rope that I cut off of the lantern since I decided I wasn't going to have it hanging off of that mast. I'll probably just keep this because I might be able to use it for something else. So there we go, the Hex Marks the Spot kit from Lindberg. So I'm not exactly sure, maybe some of you can make some comments in the comment section about the history of this kit, but I think it came out in 1971 originally, and maybe it was a part of a Disney Pirates of the Caribbean theme of kits. I'm not really sure the whole backstory on it, but I do love it. It was reissued in 2018, and let's see, I think it's coming out again very soon, I think in the next month or two, and this time they've decided to make I think the skeletons and the bone pieces and maybe even the lantern is going to be glow in the dark, so they're going to have a glow in the dark type of pieces to it. Never been a real big fan of the glow in the dark stuff for model kits because the plastic looks weird and you can't really paint it because then you mess up the glow in the dark effect, but then in the daylight it doesn't look quite right. So yeah, it's always kind of been a kind of a, I don't know, something that I'm not quite sure I like or not. But I think it's cool that they're at least bringing it back. I'm not sure if they're bringing back the other ones, but this one here I think was the most popular of all of them anyway, so it might be why they're bringing that particular one back. But this is cool. I just love this kit. It's really neat. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this build and this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd very much appreciate it. And until the next time, I'll see you on the next video. So thank you again, and have a good one!